go with drills is it's got to be an 80-20, right? Is it work 80% of the time to 20?
It does not.
Then it needs to go.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It just needs to go. Right? So that's probably not the right track for us.
No, I figured it wasn't. It's one of those things where I'm like, all right, let me get my swing down, worry less about my score. I've been listening to the audiobook. I'm almost finished with one of Bob Rotella's books. It's been actually really good.
Yeah, he's great, isn't he?
Yeah. I mean, just talking about the mentality, to me, it's like I kind of needed confirmation of, can I get somewhere that I want to be in 5-10 years if I put the work in, versus like, oh, it's too late. It's too late for me to, I'm too old.
What is our end goal?
I mean, I would like to play some amateur tournaments in a couple of years. And in my mind, I played when I was younger. I have a little foundation, but changing my swing and, I'm so late to the game. And in my head, I'm like, it sounds crazy. If I tell anyone, like, I want to play in a tournament or something, you're going to think I'm crazy. And it's like, listening to his book is kind of like, he puts it in perspective and he's like, it's like 1% about raw talent and 99% about the work that you put in.
Correct.
Versus other people. And I'm going to put the work in. So
Good.
I did that with soccer. I walked down in college and, I didn't really start playing until I was older and until I was already like 20, 21, 22. And obviously soccer is one of those sports where my age now is the high end of, so, I just play it for fun now. But,
well, here's the other thing that we got to kind of do, right? It's definitely got to be one of those things that can't be one day. It has to be now.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So even though we might not be ready, right, we still need to go out there and try.
Yeah.
Right? We need to, there's nothing better than just doing it. Right? I guess that's why Nike made so much money with that thing, right? But if that's what you want to kind of do, right, we need to get a good baseline and find out what our struggle is in a tournament. Because it's going to be a whole different feel for us when we get into that. Does that make sense?
100%.
Right? So
I know my biggest struggle, the physical aspect, I know I'll overcome. The swing, I'll learn. The work I'll put in. The biggest thing is the mental. And I know golf is 100% mental. Well, I mean, mostly mental. So that's what I'm working on now. I'm my worst critic. And just like he says in the book, like, I'm the one. He gave it a great example that I listened to last night where he said, like, if your teammate missed a layup and your other teammate went over there, like the rookie, and was like, what the hell are you doing? You suck, blah, blah, you'd be mad at him. He's like, so why the hell are you doing that to yourself?
correct.
And that's exactly what I do, and I have a very competitive spirit, but it almost turns
Negative.
Yeah,
Very
it's
negative.
not healthy. And
Right. So one of the things that when I talk to my sports psychologist is that there's no need to berate yourself because you can trust the world to do that for you.
You can trust the what?
The world to do that for you, right? I mean, don't be hard on yourself. I guarantee you, there's enough people out there that are going to tell you that alone. So don't be beating yourself up. All right. So what seems to be our issue as far as what we're kind of doing here?
What?
Yeah.
You're saying identify it? Well, right now I'm super stiff, so, but if I'm pulling back, I maybe feel like I'm not rotating, like I'll do a full swing in a second once
Okay.
but I feel like, I don't know, I feel like I'm hitting the ball straight, my follow through, I may not be getting the right club path.
Well, I'd like to take a look at that grip a little bit. It looks like the left hand's a little weak. It looks like the right hand's getting over just a little bit. So it looks like we're kind of a little wonky with that. So let me kind of start with this with you, big guy. And let's see if we're going to do the club test. All right, see if you got the left hand in the right place, and then we'll talk about the left hand in the right place, and then we'll talk about the right. So what we want to kind of do is, if I could, right, I want to be able to hold that club with one finger underneath that pad. Doing that pretty good? Okay, that's good. Okay. Now what we kind of do to help solidify that, right, as a feel, you watch Adam Scott play in the U.S. Open?
I haven't watched the US Open.
Okay. So you'll always see Adam Scott, he kind of puts the club to his side, and then he takes his grip, right? That's to make sure that he gets his left hand in a good position. Okay, so we want to make sure that we're getting that, you know, out of the palms and into the pad. All right, so it's going to be in the fingers, just like that. Good. Okay. Now let's bring in that right hand for me a little bit. Okay. Interlocking. Good. Now, what I want to kind of see here is this guy off. There you go. Okay, this guy's going to be just a little bit off the sides a little bit. Good.
Where should the club face be?
Right there. Okay. So that's a much better position. You feel where that's at there? Does that feel different?
Yeah.
Okay, good, good. Now I'm going to bring this guy on in. Okay. So take him on out. Okay. Let's take a grip with him. Try to get that mold into that feel. All right, so we're going to get here. Hold on.
Other
Yeah.
side.
Yeah, there you go. Good. Now bring this guy on in. Right. Okay, so that's going to give us the most control of that club face. Okay.
Yeah, I guess it does feel. Well, maybe it's because the
Mm-hmm.
things are on my fingers, but it does feel. Yeah, it feels like I'm in more control.
Right. It should be easier to release the hands a little bit.
Yeah.
Right, and the other thing is now you can hinge up fairly easy without trying to use your palm a little bit. Yeah, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm sure we talked about that on the first lesson a little bit, but we want to come back to that, right? You know, it's one of the most important things that we see or do, right? If I can't get my hands in the right position, then it's a bad start to begin with.
Okay.
Right? Good. Okay.
All right.
So we need to. Do we have like a little grip minder at home or anything?
No, I
like
can probably get one on.
Yeah, you can.
Amazon.
Yeah, old Jeff Bezos would love to get one at your door.
Gets everything else there.
Absolutely. I just heard that he's going to knock off half the workforce and put AI in charge of certain stuff. So.
Really?
Yeah.
I've
They kept talking about how that was going to be in 10 years. Now they're saying 5 years. Next thing you know, it's going to be 5 months.
Everybody's the
Right.
economy. So I'm here basically, right? Or this should be over. This should be over.
Over. There you go. Good. Right.
So this should be in my palm.
Yeah.
The
Oh yeah.
palm? Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So here we go, like this. So if I kind of look at this, right? There it is. See where that thumb's at?
Mm-hmm.
This is the piggy. This is the blanket. Wrap that piggy in the blanket.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Very good.
That feels so weird.
Well, yeah.
I've always had the thumb out. That's why.
Yeah. Okay. Left hand over just a little bit more for me.
This.
So we're gonna. You
This
can't
way.
see your logo, can you?
Oh, I see.
All right. Now you got that good cupping in that left wrist. Good. Okay. That's where we need to kind of be. All
And
right.
the club. So my forearm should be how it is now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. So now I can see just a little bit of your left forearm right here. This
Okay.
guy's just a little soft, which is fine.
Yep.
Okay. But we don't want to be getting this way.
Okay. Which is
Okay.
probably how I. Oh man, that feels so weird.
Yeah. That's going to take a little time, right? Okay. Good. Left hand on top, right? Tell me if you can see your logo. See that FootJoy logo.
Doesn't feel as weird, but it still definitely feels weird.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna take my hands off and see if I can
Yeah, so grip,
Replicate it.
re-grip. Yep. So, making sure you got that pad over top, right? Good. Right, we want to have that pad. Yeah, there you go, good. It's okay. Thumb on the side of the shaft, right? Thumb on the side. Yep, there you go. Okay, good. Yeah, there you go. Okay, now you can see the logo right there. Good. Let's take a look at that guy.
Form's probably not great.
So the hands are kind of out racing our turn. Just a little bit.
Say it again. They're
So if we kind of
too
look,
fast.
so they're getting out away from us just a little bit.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Okay. So ideally, okay, let's talk about that real quick. Ideally, we want to get things to match up a little bit, and this one's kind of mismatching here a little bit. So as you start to go, you can see you're starting to turn your shoulders, but your hands are out like this. You see that? Right. We want to have more of the idea of this. As that hand gets to my right foot, you see how that's level, right? And then you can see that probably, I haven't really turned my shoulders terribly too much, but I've got that club elevated. But you should be able to see everything kind of matches up. Shoulders and wrist hinge match. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I'm fully turned and fully wrist hinged here, right? But for you a little bit, as we start to go, you start to get like this, and the shoulders start to turn. That's a quarter of a turn with no go, right? And then what we're going to start to do is we're going to have to start kind of coming up and lifting to get that thing in position.
Yeah.
Okay? So a drill that you can kind of work on right there, and this is what I would kind of do. I might put that to about right here, so maybe just a little bit extra. But as you kind of practice this, right? There. Right? If I put you on over here, you'd be this.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Cool. Yeah.
Okay, so it would be here and then up.
So you're really just kind of bending, coming up and bending the wrists a little
Yeah.
bit.
To you, it's probably going to feel like we're lifting the club up.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's one thing that we need to kind of work on a little bit as we move forward, right? Okay. Let's see if we see anything else here.
So tell me, it'd be here then, right? I'd be
So yeah, so we'd be here.
okay.
So-
Even lower. So
let me try to put it in a different fashion. Okay. Let me put it a little bit different, right? So if I had a chain that was going from my belt buckle to here,
yeah,
right? See how that distance is here? Okay.
I'm just turning.
Is that distance greater or less?
greater?
Right. We want to feel like there's a chain right here. Boom, boom. Right? You see how that stays the
So
same,
Keep it. Okay. Yeah.
right? Does
No,
that make sense?
That makes sense. Yeah.
Okay. So if I kind of did this, I would do this too. All right, so I'd kind of put this right back over here. Okay? We can't touch that. Does that make sense? Yeah. All right.
And then
Yeah, and then we'd have to come on over that. Okay? Give me a small swing. Get a feel for that, right? Good. So what you're going to start to notice here, right? And this is the previous one here. What you're going to start to notice, right, is that you've got no forward shaft lean here. Okay? With what we're doing here, we should start to see some forward shaft lean going forward. Does that make sense?
yeah.
Okay? Okay. Another one here. Good. forward shaft lean, but the big thing is now when I watch your head, it's not having to drift back and it's
Yeah.
staying pretty much on that line.
Okay.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, that was one of the things I was working on, was keeping my head down, because I noticed when I'd come back, sometimes I'd pull my head back and then I was just like moving my head. And when I did keep my head down the whole time, I feel like I would hit it.
Yeah.
Like I could hear the compression, like feel the compression better.
Yeah, that's the forward shaft lean that we're talking about right there. Good. So I'm going to kind of do this to you just a little bit. All right, we're going to move that there. Move our hands just a little bit forward. There we go. And what club do we have?
So,
Okay. Now, give me this one. How'd that feel for us?
that felt, yeah, it felt good.
Okay.
I'm still getting used to it.
So here's the big thing.
Grip work.
Okay, now that I've got that club ball in a better position and you're starting to get forward shaft lean, your low point is going down. So you're at 2.6 instead of 1 inch.
Okay.
Okay. Ideally, I'd like to get you between 4 and 6 inches.
Okay.
Okay. Ideally.
What does that mean? That's
Low
the
point
forward
front.
shaft.
So your low point as the club comes through should be about here. Does that make sense? So if I got you with some forward shaft lean, right, like that, okay, it's going to be like this, okay, you're going to be here and you're still going down.
Through that.
Correct.
Okay.
Right now you're right about here or so, which is a big
Which
difference.
is what you're saying, that's where I'm lifting the club back up, right? It's not coming through on the ground and then coming.
Correct,
Yeah.
correct. So what we're trying to go for here, and you could say lift up, but that's probably not the best terminology. What we're trying to get you to do is get more forward shaft lean at impact,
Okay.
which is going to get my club going down, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So when we see those guys on tour, right? You see those guys on tour, they get to impact, right? They're like this.
Yeah.
Right? So that's a lot of forward shaft lean, and if I keep going, my club's going to keep going down and through before I come out.
Okay. That makes sense.
Right? So that's just kind of what we got to kind of work on there.
Okay.
All right? So, if I kind of put this right here again.
So I should almost line it up, not directly in the middle, like.
No, because the more the ball goes back, the more we have to go back to go get it. Right? And then we're really not going to get our low point. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
This is going to allow you to shift into that front side.
Yeah, that felt a little bit better.
Feel your weight going forward?
Mm-hmm.
Good. Get behind that.
Yeah.
Now, take a sec here. All right, see how your low point's getting there?
Mm-hmm.
All right, it tells me that we're getting more forward shaft lean as we come through impact. Okay, getting there.
Maybe am I releasing it too early?
A little bit, right? We're kind of retracting that left arm back just a little bit, right? So don't be afraid, and we kind of see where our swing path is.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking about swing.
Yeah, so here we go. So the issue that we're having here with that elbow kind of retracting and coming through. You see how much your club path is so far to the inside? It's almost 15 degrees.
Yeah.
So you'd be swinging to basically the third baseman,
Yeah.
right? We want to have that feeling like we're swinging out towards the second baseman. What that's going to do is that's going to keep those arms out in front of me. All right, so we kind of got this guy right here. Okay, good, good. Now, how you're going to practice this when you get home? Okay, do you have any kids' chalk or anything like that around the house?
Somewhere probably.
Okay, if you can find some, that's great. What I'd like for you to do, right, is that we want to get one right here. I'd make that a white line, okay? I'd get another one 6 inches ahead. That's a blue line.
Okay.
And then 6 inches behind, make that a pink line,
Okay.
okay? And your whole thought process is not to get any pink on your club,
Okay.
right? I should have just all white and blue. Does that make sense? It's
Yeah.
going to get you to move forward and move through.
Okay.
Okay. Now the other part is that we need to kind of have that feeling like we're swinging a little bit further out to the right a little bit for our path.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like my club path wasn't terrible, but I'm definitely right now thinking about the
Yeah.
other stuff.
Correct. Correct.
I'm thinking more about this
Mm-hmm.
than I was club paths.
Yeah. Good. Good. Right. And we messed around with that grip pretty good today too, right? So there's a lot going on there, right?
I knew you were gonna mess me up today.
Absolutely. So here we go. I kind of did that here. Right, I get this right here. Right, we don't want any red on the club, right? And that's going to be expected, right? Because what we've kind of relied on is just timing and rhythm to get that club there. Now we're getting to the point where it's technique,
Yeah.
right? And you've been used to whirly birding it or something like that to get it down here, right?
Yeah.
And now I've taken that way, and you're like, oh. So
Yeah.
we're just trying to get a reset on that.
Good.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Right now your wrist set and your shoulders are matching their turn. Good. Hell yeah, look at that thing. Straight. Yeah. And probably for you, you probably feel like you're taking a half swing or a quarter swing, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Swing path, right?
It's okay. It's okay.
I like now I'm starting to like know when I'm coming inside versus
Huge. That's huge. That's knowledge, right? That's good.
swing path is probably
Yeah. That's okay.
Right.
It's okay. Mhm. Doing good there. Let's kind of do this for you. So, you got the idea of what we're doing right here, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to kind of put this guy on out here really out to the way, right? And I just want to feel like we're swinging out in that direction, okay? All right, ball up in our setup just a little bit, right? Good. Good. Good strike. Good strike. Good. Set up for me. Good. So, I want to feel like we're standing a little bit taller. There we go, good. Yeah. There we go. So you're getting a little hunched over on me, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, good. There you go. That was a good one right there. You see our low point? Very good.
Yeah.
Right. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to take a look down the line here. I gotta go in here. I gotta do one more. Right. Wow, look, that's the best low point I've seen so far. Good job. Okay, so let's take a look. All right. So why do you think we're going left?
Well, my swing path is terrible on that, I think. Oh, that was like 9.
Yeah.
What should my swing path, what number should it be?
Well, I'd like it closer to 0 or a positive.
Okay.
Okay. There's no ideal world, right? Because we're all different.
But this, if I'm thinking about like linear, this is 0, so that means I'm swinging.
Yes. You're swinging. You know, if I was on a baseball diamond, right? Right now you're swinging towards the shortstop.
Yeah.
Okay. We need to be swinging out towards that second baseman. Okay. Now here's what our issue is our setup, right? Look how open our shoulders are.
Yeah.
Right. So that's a big part right there.
Do I need to get closer to the ball?
Well, we need to get our hands a little bit out from underneath our shoulders. See how they're back? Okay. They need to be more in this position. Okay. So that would be hanging. The club hands will be hanging underneath my chin, not underneath me. Does that make sense? You see that?
Yeah.
Okay. And the other thing is that we need to feel like this right shoulder's back and this left shoulder's more ahead. So right now, when I look at your setup, it's like this down the line here. So it's here. Okay, that's how you're set up right now. Okay. Now, even if I do the best to get you to compress that thing, where's my path?
Yeah.
That's my path, right? So I need to get more of my hands getting out of the way from me, feeling like I'm standing a little bit taller, okay? And I want to kind of have the feeling, okay, that my shoulders are either square or maybe just slightly closed a little bit, okay? But right now we've got these hands really underneath us, kind of like this, and that's where our path is going, right? Now remember this, our shoulders are going to dictate where our path is, okay? So I'm going to kind of do this to you real quick. Go ahead and set up for me, big guy. Make sure that's not bothering your car. Good. Okay, so I'm going to come on in here. Okay, so I'm going to stand a little bit taller for me. There you go, much better. Okay, and then down through. So now, right?
So how do I get the club to the ground then?
You're going to have to give you some knee flex or something like
Is
that.
that's what I'm, so just back straighter then and I'll just bend more?
The problem is now we come back to the original question that you asked about club.
Club fitting.
Correct, right?
That's what I was just thinking because when you pulled me up, I was like this.
Right, so you've got yourself, you're what, 6 foot?
6 foot. Yeah.
Right, so, and depending on what your length of arms are, right, that's something that they're going to have to measure, right, from the rest of the floor, right? The club is probably getting you in a bad position.
Yeah.
Right, so that's what I would suggest. What club do we have there? I just want to.
It's a 7.
Seven?
Because if I'm doing what you said basically, then I think I'm here, right?
Yeah, hold on, 7 right there. Yeah. So I just want to kind of take a look. This is my 7 iron. Okay, I just want to kind of see what the length is. Okay. So it's about the same length, maybe a little bit longer. Okay, that's good. Okay. Now go ahead and set up again for me. Okay, so let's kind of talk about setup here, right? So I want to kind of go over this. Let's stand here next to each other, right? So we're going to take our grip, put it out in front of us, right? Just so, okay? We're going to put a little bend right there. Give me a crack of the knees a little bit, equal steps, and then bring the club down naturally. There you go, okay? There you go. That's where we're going to need to be, okay? Now we can definitely see that this shoulder is getting out of the way. Right, so I can kind of tell here just a little bit. Do we sit at a computer desk quite a bit?
And I have really broad shoulders too.
Yeah, you got really broad shoulders, but what we got is what we call angel wings. Okay? Because everything is like this
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
here. And we got to get, we got to get those shoulders back a little bit. Okay? And that's going to take a little time. That's just the physical element of what the game is.
Okay.
Okay? So what I suggest,
Stretching.
stretching with purpose though, right?
Yeah.
Not just out there stretching
No,
around,
yeah.
right? But we need to get ourselves into a corner, as so, and feel our chest go to the center and stretch that chest out, right? Open it up, get those shoulders back, because I can really see that we've got those things hunched on over here,
Yeah.
and then you get kind of, so that's going to take time,
Okay.
right? But if we can do that, 10 or 15 minutes a night, we're going to start seeing a big change in our posture.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do that. I've been stretching damn near like 5 times a week of all kinds of back, legs,
Yeah.
a little bit of upper body, but yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
COVID, I was doing like 300 push-ups a day, and
Yeah.
I ended up like injuring myself. They're like, you weren't doing any back, you were just doing push-ups, and now it's probably part of that too. Is like this side is like
Strong.
yeah, and yeah, it's
Correct.
just over-corrected basically.
Correct. So it just takes a little time, but that's more the position that we need to kind of be in, okay? Because if I get too far over and I get my shoulders that way, it's going to be tough to get my path to go out to the right
Yeah.
with any consistency.
No, that makes sense. So I'm here, and then slight bend of the knees, right? Let's go. Slight bend of the knees.
Good. Now let's just let the club come down naturally, hanging off our shoulders. There we go. Okay. Now, what we want to kind of do is, for a test of our swing here, right? I want you to give me a swing, and do you feel powerful to do this? Okay.
Do I feel powerful, you're saying?
Yeah, can you swing it with power? Or do you feel out of balance?
I feel out of balance.
Okay, then let's narrow up our stance a little bit. There you go. Do we feel like more power there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So remember, set up, with our feet is one thing, right? We want to get the right distance, right? But my stance is going to be different than your stance because you have a different equilibrium point in your head.
Yeah.
Right? So some people can get away with a wide stance that are short or tall, right? And vice versa, right? You'll see some people and it's what their balance point is.
Okay.
So always remember that as well,
Makes
okay?
sense.
All right, let's keep going here together. Okay, so go ahead and set up for me if you could, please. All right. I just want you to give me a swing and try to stay in this position. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, good. It's okay.
Let me think about swing path. I'll probably do it.
Okay. Swinging out to the right.
A little better.
All right. Get yourself a feel for it, right? Feel like I like the kind of feeling that the left shoulder's, I'm going to get that high and tight pitch on me, right? So the left shoulder's probably going to be a little high and tight for you. There you go. Much better, okay? So we're working on that path. You see it's at 4?
By the way, if you smell something funky, it's not me. It's my glove. I just threw another one away, and this one I've only had a couple weeks. It smells pretty bad.
Okay.
I'm saying that 'cause I keep
All right,
smelling.
moving it up just a little bit too far. There you go. Okay, it's just going to be up of center. Okay. Good.
It feels weird, but it feels right at the same time.
Let's take a look at this one down the line here. So much better job with the shoulders, right? It's not so far open, so it's going to take time, right? Take a look See how your hands are getting under that plane? Start
So
off.
I need to come.
Well, let's kind of see here as we go. Get them back closer to where that is. That's good. Okay. Most of the time I see that way out of the way.
So it needs to come out, staying with the chain.
Mm-hmm.
It still needs to come. I guess maybe I'm.
Yeah, so if I kind of got you here, right? Set up for me. Okay. Good. So it's kind of more here.
Okay.
Okay, feel how that face goes right there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Right now you're kind of like this.
Yeah, yeah. No, I
Okay.
definitely feel that.
Good. Good. Okay.
There.
Yeah, big thing is here now I'm starting to see a low point that's going ahead. That's good. Okay, good.
Should I be hinging the wrist a little bit too, or?
So here we go. Let's come on over here. Let's get a good feel for that. So I got you right here. So we're gonna get point where we're right about here, and that club's over our right foot. Okay. And what you're gonna start to sense is where everything needs to kind of be. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
All right, I can kind of put it in words, but
yeah.
what we need is the world of feel right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so if our right hand's scooching just a little bit. There you go, good. Okay, so just small. See?
So I shouldn't need any touch.
Well, there you go. We could probably scooch over just a smidge. There you go. Good. Give yourself a little space. There you go. Good. Alright, so come on down slowly for me. Yeah, look how much more forward shafting we have as we come through now.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
I see what you mean.
All right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. Does that make sense a little bit there, my man?
Yep.
Good setup, right? Feel like we're standing tall. We're swinging out towards that second baseman.
So.
Let's get that left hand a little bit more on top of our grip. All right, get that. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Good.
Gosh, that grip feels so weird. I mean, I'll get used to it.
It takes time. All right, definitely takes time.
I can see what you mean by it pushes the shaft
Mm-hmm.
forward.
Absolutely. But here's the big thing for us right now. Right? Here's the big thing. We're now living in the world of 5, okay, instead of 15. Okay, so remember, Rome wasn't built in a day. Okay, it's gonna take some time,
Yeah.
but that's a lot closer to 0, like what we're talking about,
Yeah.
than the 15.
Yeah.
Right? So it's just, we got to kind of nibble away at that at time, right? The big thing is that we're trying to work on is getting that forward shaft lean through impact,
Okay.
right? As we come through. Now, how we want to kind of practice that just a little bit, right? As far as path goes. Let's see if I can do that. Right, so I just want you to make some very, very small swings, okay? We're going to get this right here. I want you to just feel like you're swinging along this line. We're not going to worry about anything else, the grip, the posture, all that. I just want you to give me a small swing where it goes in to out. Yep, yep. All right. 7 to 1 on the clock face. Does that make sense? All right,
Yep.
from 7 o'clock on the backswing to 1 o'clock on the through swing. Okay, just give me a small little swing, okay? Just work on that path for a second.
Crazy part is I do this at home and somehow I watch back the videos and I'm like, boom, and I'm like, wait, why?
Well, I think that has to do with our setup, right? With the shoulders being so far open, right? It's going to lead to our path being that way. So we want to feel like our shoulders, even for this one, feels like it's lined up with that alignment rod. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Just as a feel. All right, small swing, right? Feel like we're swinging from 7 to 1. 7 to 1. Very good.
Am I dumb? Why am I not getting the 7 to 1 part?
No,
I'm
just-
thinking about a clock and I'm still.
It's okay. It takes time, right? It takes time. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Here we go. Let's give it a swing here, okay? 7 to 1 on the clock face. In to out.
You want me to hit the ball?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. Ah, look at that. Now we're at 2. That's good work. Okay, let's keep on that feel. 7 to 1. That's all right. Good. Feel like those shoulders are close. Swinging 7 to 1. Whoa, it was a positive. Good job. All right, good job working on our path a little bit. Good job. Okay, hey, that's pretty good work right there. Keep set up real quick. This guy needs to be back. This guy needs to be forward. Bring him on up just a bit more. There you go. Okay? Yeah, now we've got a much better chance. Here we go. Let's go. That's fine. That's okay. We're just focusing on path, right? I want that right foot back behind that left foot just a smidge. All right, that's going to help with our shoulders. We're tracking that right shoulder back a little bit.
Yeah, that already feels like I'm.
Yeah. Yeah. Already set to swing out that way, right?
Yeah.
Good. Good. job. Good work right there, buddy. The numbers didn't come up, I can tell.
Yeah, that felt better. Good.
Good. We can live with that. Does that make sense, Daniel? We can live with that.
Yeah. The foot in back, I feel like helps.
As far as a miss, that's not bad, right? Okay, good. Right foot's back behind that left foot, right? Good.
So. Come back.
Yeah, there we go. Now we're starting to go. Good.
So I think I have to remember to come down too. I think, right? 'Cause
Wait, what you mean?
I mean, like driving in and rotating. What do you call it? Because I think I wasn't when I was turning. I was like kind of like flicking it instead of driving in. And
Well, the reason you were flicking is because we didn't really get our wrist set to our shoulder turns. Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
Yeah.
So once we kind of do that, the motion itself should take care of itself and we should have forward shafting. So we shouldn't really have to worry about anything with that. Okay? 71 o'clock, let's see. Good. Good work with the path right now. Okay? We'll start getting the face cleared up a little bit once we start to get that grip in a much better, more used to it in a better position a little bit. It's just going to take a little time for us.
yeah, I think that's what I was feeling.
That's, as far as a miss goes, right? Probably didn't hit it the best, but that's a pretty good result for what we're looking for.
Straight.
Right? We don't need to chase distance.
Yeah, my forearm. Changing the grip.
Oh, yeah.
It's on fire. It's crazy. I like the dropping the right foot back though.
Yes. Set up for me real quick. Good. Doing really good. Okay, right foot's back, right? Good. Good. There you go. Okay. Just getting a little bit too much forward shaft.
Okay.
Right there. Just where the left hand feels just inside the thigh.
Okay.
Okay? Not like this. Okay. Good.
Is the ball placement okay?
What do we got? A 7-iron?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go back just a smidge. Just ever so slightly up or forward. That way you can still chase it down the fairway instead of trying to get back behind it. Oh, there you go. A little bit over the top, but Good work right there, man.
That feels good.
Good
And
job.
And it went straight.
Yeah, absolutely. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. He's finding the fairway everywhere. Good job. Good work. Right foot's back a little bit, right? All right, big guy, let's hit about 3 more, and then let's talk about what we need to practice on, okay? Because we're at,
We're over.
well, no, we're at 90 shots.
Oh.
We're on a pitch count, you'd be back in the bullpen by now. I mean, do pitchers even throw 90 pitches these days? I'm not even sure. Remember those old guys used to throw double headers.
Whole game.
Good
It's just
job.
gonna be a lot of practice in the garage.
One more for me, big guy. Come on, you're doing great. Good. Take a break for a sec. Okay, so let's talk about a few things that we're really trying to hone in on here, right? One was club path.
Yeah.
Kind of start from reverse, but working on club path right there, right? That's big. I mean, I know it's not a positive as far as, you know, the numbers go, but it's so much closer to 0 what we're looking for, right? Instead of being 15 to 12 degrees to the left, and then we're really trying to manipulate the face to get it back on, or if we have it closed at any point, we're over in the bushes,
Yeah.
right? So making sure that our swing path is more down our line, right? In an ideal world, we'd like it all to be what the pros call zeroing it out, which means everything's straight as it can be, right? It's imaginary, right? The ball's always going to kind of curve and move, right?
Yeah.
We had a straight ball, it was the luckiest shot of our life, right? But getting this closer to 0 is going to be a big thing for us. Now, you've got like a Rapsoda or a Flight Scope or something. Don't you have like a little launch monitor at your
Oh
house?
yeah, I've got a. It's a Garmin.
Like the R10?
The R10 indoor. It probably captures some of this stuff accurately, but as far as like distance, like when I do the range, like the distance, it doesn't capture because indoor. Like if I do it outdoor, it's more accurate. I haven't looked at the other stuff though, like club path and stuff.
Okay, that's where we really want to. I'm not really worried about chasing distance.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, we'll get there. If we do the right things, the distance will be there, right?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
If I've got good turn forward shaft lean and I keep my swing within where it needs to be, you know, the swing to you, right? You're going to get distance, right? You're going to boom. the big thing that we want to kind of focus on is what is our club path doing? And I know that little device has that, right? So even if we got to make small swings, little half swings, quarter swings, or something like that, we just want to start to get a feel of us having that feeling of 7 to 1, right? The big thing for you, right, is getting this right foot to retract back behind this left a little bit, which helps get my shoulders in a good position. Right now it's kind of traversed, and we're kind of like that.
Yeah.
So our path is definitely going that way.
No, I was trying to line up even, but even with that, I still feel like you're right. Like I could, like I'm like this versus that. That feels better when I line up.
Yeah.
Just for, it's like getting that club path when I'm straight is like, you know.
Correct. Correct. So, you know, making sure that we get that right foot retract back just a little bit to help our shoulders, help our hips, help our knees stay in a better position instead of being open. Okay. And that's probably the reason why you're struggling so hard with the driver. I'm sure there's other things, but if I'm like this, it's going to be, and especially with a very straight face club, it's probably right city or it's pulled to the left.
I either, typically I've always sliced, but if I catch it straight, yeah, when I hit it solid, I laser it left, like 300, I mean, just gone.
Yeah. Pull city, right?
Yeah,
Pull! John, pull!
I was like, if I could hit that straight, I'm like, that's such a good shot. It's straight, but it's straight left.
Yeah. And that's to do with just our setup to start off with, okay? Now, the other thing that we kind of talked about was, and we'll come back to the grip, okay? We talked about the grip, making sure that, you know, if we've got like a little grip minder at the house or order one up or something like that. They've got a bunch of them now. Now you can snap them on a club or something like that.
Okay.
But the big thing is for us with our left hand, right? I want to be able to take that pad, hold it with one finger, okay? That's where that club needs to lay underneath that pad, okay? And that's something that we need to kind of work on, right? This is a weighted club and I can do this, okay? So I'm controlling this with just that, okay? Now, the other thing that we want to kind of do for us, right, is that we want to make sure that for you, this was kind of a big point, is that this thumb's going to be on the basically the right side of the shaft, but we're going to get that in our palm right there, right? So as I like to tell the juniors and stuff like this, here's my piggy, here's my blanket, wrap that piggy in a blanket, right? Okay, and that's going to cover that hand the way that we need to, and that's going to take some time, right? For you, when you look down, right, I should see a little bit of my logo and maybe 1 to 2 knuckles, okay? There's going to be a little light cupping in this left wrist. If I have it like this, that's no good. Okay, so we're going to have just a little cupping in there, and that's going to get the left hand a little bit more on top, keeping it in the fingers and underneath the pad. That's key.
I see. I can feel that because that's why I was moving the thumb so I could squeeze both like fully. But yeah, if it's over here and I wrap this one.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So making sure that thumb is on the side of the shaft is paramount, right? Now the other thing that we want to kind of work on, as I said, with the right hand, feeling that in the fingers as well, okay? But making sure that we don't get it too far under or too far over. Okay, because for you, if I get this guy too far over, watch me down the line, right? What happens? Right, that guy starts to,
problem.
right, we start to get that thing there too, right? And for somebody that works at the desk quite a bit, you know, that's going to be something that we want to try to, you know, for who we are, right? We want to try to combat that, right? So for you, you may be getting your right foot back a little bit more, getting your shoulders back a little bit more, and that might be where we start until we start really stretching those things out, right? Now the other thing that we talked about was our wrist hinge to our shoulder turn, right? We want to get those to match up. We don't want the shoulder turn to outrace the wrist hinge, because if so, then when I get back into impact, I'm not going to have the forward shaft lean that I need, and I'm going to kind of flip, right? So a great drill for that, okay, is that I would kind of get to a point where if I was right here, the hands might be just outside my right foot. I'd give myself just a little space, okay, not much, okay? But I really want to kind of feel, this is the one way I kind of do it, is I get here, right, and then I want to feel like I turn up, right? See how my shoulders and wrist hinge match, right? So here, okay? And that's as far back as we need to go, because it's not about the length of the swing, it's about the forward shaft lean I can create at the bottom, right? You're going to hear pros talk about forward shaft lean. You never hear them say, oh, I took it back, 120 degrees. Right? Look at John Rahm, look at Tony Finau, right? People would say they have a short swing, but short to what? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Their arms and their wrists, their wrists and their shoulders match up perfectly. So for who they are, that is perfect.
Yeah.
To us, it may look short because we've been read into a book that everything's got to get to parallel, right? Well, that's hokey pokey.
Rory, like wrapping the club around.
Well, that's
Some
why.
people, when they twist, I'm like, how do they do that?
Well, the reason why Rory's going to have the big left miss, is because what he does is he gets those hands to outrace each other, and when he gets back down here, he loses a little angle sometimes,
Yeah.
and then the toe flips,
Yeah.
and then off sitting, right? Now, he's really working on getting that shoulder rotation, which is good, okay? But you can see that in the thing, he really works his head back, and then he works his head really back
Yeah,
underneath, and he gets it
yeah.
really under the plane.
Yeah.
He's going to be able to do that for another couple of years, and then I hope he enjoys the senior circuit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm glad he won the Masters now,
Yeah.
but it's not going to be something that when he gets into his 40s, he's going to be able to do,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
He's either going to have to make a change like Tiger did to try to stay on top of the ball more and get a cut as he comes through,
Yeah.
right? So right now he's got real good hand-eye coordination. Now, the other thing that we kind of talked about here, right, that was going to go with that drill, okay? What I want you to do, okay, and I'm just going to kind of set this up, and I want you to just kind of imagine these are chalk lines for us, okay? This guy, I'll just put this, okay? So, what we're going to do, okay, in our little studio, okay, so we're going to get this about 6 inches apart, okay? So take or so, right? I'm going to place my ball here where this line is, okay? And what your job is, okay, and I personally like the colors pink, white, blue, but you could do whatever color works best for you, right? But the idea is I don't want to get any pink on my club, on the takeaway or the downstrike, okay? So what that's going to feel for us is it's going to feel like to you like you're picking the club up a little early,
Yeah.
which is fine, okay, because then we're starting to get our wrist set.
Yeah.
But then the other part of it is as I get down and through here, right, I'm going to strike this and get more of this blue line right here. And that's going to get our low point ahead,
Yeah.
right? And that's going to be compared to shaft lean now, right? So those are things work together as we come through, okay? So that's what we want to kind of do
If I
there.
put it on the turf, I wonder if I put pieces of tape. Would that work?
No, I would use chalk. I mean, I know it sounds like it'd be messy, but you can just take some water
And wipe.
wipe it off. It comes right on off,
Okay.
right? And to be honest with you, if we're really practicing, that shouldn't be that would be a great visual for us too, and something to take out onto the course, that mental visual,
Okay.
right? So
I can
having
see that.
tape right there, we can kind of get away with it because
Yeah.
we won't see a mark on the
Yeah.
club,
That's,
right?
That's true.
We may kind of cheat the system, right?
Okay.
Now remember, right, it's like anything like a doctor does, right? I'm going to give you a prescription. We don't need to take the whole bottle,
Yeah.
right? You don't need to kill yourself, okay? We need to take one bite at a time, right? So working on these things slowly and surely. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you gave me a decent amount to, as far as like the swing, I can focus on the two things, right? I can focus on the swing path. Obviously my setup, that's just, I can just stand there and focus on that. But
Mhm.
swing path and the chalk, right?
Yeah.
I can focus on those things. The stretching and the wall drill, I mean, I'll remember that. I can
Yeah.
just do that
Yeah.
before or after I play, whatever.
Absolutely. And the other thing is getting a grip minder in your hands,
Yeah.
right? Getting a grip in your hands. The other thing that they're going to do for you when you do your club fitting is what they call a grip fitting, right? So whatever grip you're using might not be proper for your hands,
Okay.
right? And that's the other thing that we need to kind of look at right there too.
Okay.
Now there are a few things that they kind of say, and I'll kind of research that a little bit. But the big thing is that you may need a bigger grip, you may need a smaller grip, you may need a really, really small grip,
Yeah.
depending on what your hand size is and what we're trying to do a little bit.
Okay.
But that's one side right there. The other side of the club fitting, and I think that's really going to benefit you, is getting a club that probably matches a little bit better with the length, so you can get yourself in a better position.
Yeah.
Because it seems like now we're right here, everything's like boxed in,
No, for sure.
right? And we really want to kind of have that feeling, right? You know, that's the wrong part right there. Let me see. So the feeling we want to have, and I'll kind of go with it, right? Now I know I'm a little bit shorter, so if you stand right over there, right? But this is kind of more the look that we want to kind of have,
Yeah.
right? You see how everything's relaxed,
Yeah.
standing there? You're kind of like this.
No, I feel that.
Okay.
100%. And that's why, like, when I was watching even my own videos, I'm like, am I bending too much? You know, because I did see something like where you keep your legs straight and you bend, and like how your arms hang is kind of where
Yeah.
and that's what you were kind of saying. But I'm like,
Well, I think we need to have a little bit more knee flex in our
Yeah.
knees,
Yeah.
right? I think that's going to be the thing that gets us down, right? I'd much rather have a little bit more knee flex at this point than getting here.
yeah.
Because the hands are going to get so far inside,
Yeah.
right? The right shoulder gets like this, and then it's,
Yeah.
you know, what's my path there?
Yeah.
7, right? So that's what we want to kind of avoid. So for
Okay.
us, we really want to kind of feel like, and I hate the idea of the little bar stool, but
Yeah.
that's kind of what they go with these days. But really much more of feeling like I'm sitting into my position, right? My knees are going to be kind of bent, but I want to kind of keep my upper body nice and straight, right? So it's going to be kind of like this, just like that. And it's just repetition, repetition, repetition.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
That's the big thing right there. Okay? So you can see even with this, though I am a little shorter, right? You can see that I can get into a very comfortable position with my hands just a little bit further away from my body,
Yeah.
right? And now I can move through
Yeah.
as I come through.
No, that makes sense. Okay.
Okay?
I'll get a whatever that thing's called, the grip thing.
Yeah, grip minder. So
Grip minder.
you know, you can do a couple things. You can just get like a grip minder that they've got. I think they got some snap-on grip things right there, right? You can even get yourself like, I think Initech is the name, Introtech or something like that. And they've got like these weighted clubs with a grip right there if you want to kind of work on a few things
Yeah.
together, if you know what I
Yeah.
mean.
Yeah.
But that's where I'd kind of go with that.
Okay.
Okay?
I'll do that.
Any questions, big guy?
What do you want to do about lessons, and like if I'm really